Hey, and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit different. It's December 1st, and like I said in my last video, we have Mrs. Gnome. I decided she's going to be a girl. So my friend Gnome has these awesome boxes over here. Today is December 1st, so we are going to go ahead and open box number 1. But first, we have a story to read. My friend Gnome, if you are the parent, I don't know who's watching this, this is just some notes. Sorry that it's backwards. You can go ahead and pause this if you want to read it. Otherwise, I'm going to just leave it here for just a second so you can pause it. Otherwise, most people probably don't want to read it. So let's get started with the book. So there's this really cute story that it comes with and kind of explains why the gnome is coming to your home. So we're going to do that really quick. The story of gnomes and Santa. Far north among the boreal forest are the homes of many small magical creatures called gnomes. You may not have heard of these forest creatures, but they have certainly heard of you. They are the nearest neighbors and longtime friends of a famous white-bearded, red suit-wearing North Pole resident and his wife. This is the story of the gnomes and how they come to the aid of their jolly neighbor, Santa, each year at Christmas. Gnomes, like leprechauns, are shy, secretive forest dwellers. They're small in stature and generally do not cut their hair or shave their faces. They must dress warmly and are in the habit of pulling their pointed hats down snugly over their eyes, so snugly that sometimes nothing can be seen of them but a nose peeking out from underneath. There's a certain magical kinship between the gnomes and their forest. They know and love all the wildlife, trees, and plants in their forest and store many important herbs that they harvest throughout the year. Not unusual are sightings of gnomes asking the advice of wise old trees, riding and racing foxes, or foraging for nuts and berries alongside friendly bears. It has also been reported that a gnome, when startled, upset, or just playing hide and seek, may simply turn itself into a toadstool. This ability to blend into the forest habitat has many benefits, for sure. Gnomes also have their own language, Gnomish, a difficult language that most people do not understand. Fortunately, Santa and Mrs. Claus are fluent in this language, as Mrs. Claus sometimes requests rare ingredients for the gnomes' harvest stores for her recipes. Recently, Mrs. Claus ordered some blue pea flowers to make a relaxing tea for Santa. He's been a bit stressed lately, she said. He gets more stressed during production season. The elves are working overtime too, Miss Claus went on to explain that there was just too much work. He had letters to read, toys to design, and packages to wrap. He also had to keep an updated list of all the naughty and nice children of the world. On top of all this, Santa wasn't feeling well. I hope my special tea will do the trick. I'm not sure what else I can do, said Mrs. Claus. Back home in the forest, the gnomes called an emergency meeting. They all came together as one to determine what could be done to help their good friend Santa. After a long discussion, they decided they would assist Santa with his naughty and nice list. At the beginning of the holidays, each year, the gnomes would travel to the homes of children all over the world. There, they would quietly watch the children and report back to Santa with the results. When the gnomes shared their plan with Santa, he could hardly believe his ears. Could they really leave their beloved forest for almost a month every year? But the gnomes insisted. For Santa, they were more than happy to do it. Mrs. Claus was delighted, and Santa most grateful. And so it was decided. At the end of November, the forest gnomes would journey south, moving unnoticed into the homes of children everywhere. Each gnome would keep a careful watch over the children and report back to Santa nightly, noting who had been naughty and who had been nice. Once Santa arrived on Christmas Eve, The gnomes would help unload the gifts from his sleigh and place them under the tree. Then the gnomes would journey back to their forest homes, ready to greet one another on Christmas morning. If you notice a bit of unexplained mischief in your home, it might be your gnome having a little fun. Oh, don't worry. They're completely harmless, a little playful maybe, but gentle and kind. Maybe your teddy is wearing your favorite socks. Or there's a candy cane where your toothbrush should be. Hey, where's my toothbrush? Or maybe you can't find your green crayon. The gnome's favorite color is green. It reminds them of their forest home. Remember, gnomes are rather shy and secretive, but if you keep your eyes open, you might just catch them in the act of their frolicsome behavior. The gnome fell. Sorry. If you're lucky enough to see your gnome around the house, be kind and say hello. Talk to your gnome and talk about some of the nice things that you've done. Your gnome will take in everything you say, even though your gnome won't have a lot to say back to you. The lively conversation will make your gnome feel warm and welcome, like being a part of your family. Remember, always try very hard not to be bad or rambunctious in the presence of your gnome. This could result in a naughty report to Santa. Your gnome might even decide to turn itself into a toadstool or flee home to the forest until next year. And don't worry, if your gnome doesn't make an appearance, just make sure that you're being good and kind and helpful. Even if you don't see your gnome, your friend gnome sees you. They're just like Santa. They're always watching. And they're really little, so they can fit anywhere. Gnomes are sweet and very shy, and they like to seek and spy. Playful spirits, so light and quick, fool around and like to trick. If you're bad and your gnome sees, he may quickly up and flee. Being good and being kind, this is what your gnome should find. Be aware and you may see, talk to them or let them be, Santa's helper in the home, always watching my friend gnome. And then it just says a little bit, did you know, like flowers can be used as an umbrella, and then it wants you to count the gnomes and the flowers on this page. And then it just says, be good this year. Merry Christmas. All right. So now